Hello, everybody, and welcome to College Football Predictions. This is going to be, I think, week 5. I'm a little late getting back into it. I just decided I would going to get back into this. I'm starting to hold it like a actual microphone just for the fun of it, and because it's easier just to have that. But anyway, let's get on to some predictions. So right now, obviously, I'm not going to be calling the Washington State USC game. Even though I think I kind of thought that Washington State was going to win. Obviously it started, so that'd be kind of weird for me to say that. I mean, the 17-10. It's 9:47 to go in the second quarter. USC just got a field goal. But anyway, so this week we're going to go ahead and call most of the top 25 of the games that have not happened yet. Next week we're going to try to do this on Wednesday. That way it's a lot, I can actually, upload and put it out before the actual game. I don't know. Actually get it to so it's before. Anyway, so it's before the week starts. But anyway, I can't talk. Well, that's nothing new. If you watched my videos in the past, you know that. So anyway, let's get right into the good old things. I'm about to say, Sam Darnold hasn't been looking the greatest in this game so far, but that's on the point. Miami beating Duke, I guess can't use that one either. Well, let's go ahead and start it with the noon game in Madison, Wisconsin. Wisconsin and Northwestern. This is kind of a weird game because a lot of times when these two teams play and Wisconsin's ranked, it turns into like a trap game for them, and they seem to lose this game quite often. But that being said, I'm just going to try to pump it up a little bit, But it's obvious. I think that Wisconsin will win this game. I mean, Northwestern's a better team than they were last year, but I'll put it this way. I don't see Northwestern putting up a good enough fight to beat Wisconsin. Wisconsin, I think, is an underrated team. I think they've had a few slow starts this year, and in the second half, they are a dominant team that just comes out and beats up on people. So expect that one to be close in the beginning, but I think as the game goes on, it'll be a nice... it'll be what the other games have been. It's been just, a domination of Wisconsin in the second half. IU and good old Penn State. Penn State, obviously undefeated. Really good game last week. I was watching that game. Oh, and I'll put it this way. I thought when Iowa scored in 142, I wouldn't say I thought it was over, but I thought it was going to be really hard for Penn State to do what they did in that crowd. And I didn't realize I was watching the telecast I think it was on ABC. And they were showing how close those fans were to the field, and that was insane. I never realized that before. And, I've watched plenty of Iowa games. I watched, as a Purdue fan, as at least my shirt says, I've watched plenty of games there in my, lifetime, and I didn't realize that before. I guess nobody's put much attention to it. But anyway, Miami, Ohio, Notre Dame. Moving on. Notre Dame, I think, will win that. Miami, Ohio, better improved team. Obviously, they started the season 0-6 last year and then won their last 6 games to get bowl eligible, which is very impressive. Obviously, that's something that's never been done before, so there's that. I mean, anytime you do something that nobody's ever accomplished before, at least I don't think it's been accomplished before. I mean, we can fact check me on that if you guys want in the comments, but I've never seen, I don't remember. I believe they were always saying that, but anyway. Oh boy. Oh, apparently, I was looking at this ESPN thing. Apparently, Nebraska has to play Wisconsin and Ohio State in the next 2 games. That'll be fun. Okay, then next we have Ohio State and Rutgers. This game probably won't be close. I think Ohio State's going to take them to. I think Ohio State at this point has to come out and play just dominate teams if they're going to have any chance of the playoff. Because sure, they might. I mean, they're going to have to go out there and dominate these teams that they shouldn't, be in games against, because they're going to have a case for if, let's be real here. Oklahoma, Clemson, Alabama, or USC, or one of these teams is going to lose. Penn State, obviously, in that scenario would have to lose. But what I'm saying is, but at the same point, they're going to have to give reason for the committee to give them an advantage over one of those low-and-loss teams. And obviously USC was the one out of that group that I mentioned that would probably be the weakest. But at the same point, I think USC has beaten the teams they need to, but they haven't been impressive. But if in some of their games, but I think if Ohio State would be, then they would maybe kind of overlook a loss. And that's what I'm basically trying to get at here, is that they would overlook a loss, saying, hey, they came out, had to play Oklahoma, really good Oklahoma team, and lost at home. Maybe not in the most, reasonably well-fashioned game, but that's their only loss. And they blew out all the teams they should have been. They could get the advantage over that. And as USC, it depends on who they lose to. Like, if they were to lose tonight, Ohio State, I think you could make the case that USC would have the better resume. But even then, that's a beautiful pass by... Yeah, that was a good pass by Falk there. Anyway, the game's still going on. There's like 7:39 to play in this Washington State to USC game. So... yeah, I think Ohio State gets a win there. I don't expect it to be close because, again, like I said, they have to win out, and win big in those games. Again, maybe Michigan and Penn State, they're going to have to win those games. They don't have to blow them out, but they have to win, and those are two tough games. So, anyway, then next we got South Florida and East Carolina. South Florida looks like a team that could honestly get one of those Group of 5 New Year's 6 bowl game bids. They're looking pretty impressive so far. And Charlie Strong, I think, was a good coach. I think the problem is Texas just didn't fit the profile of a Texas team. I think he was trying to do a lot of things, and I think he did not have the support that he needed really to help that program. I'm not going to make any speculations on anything. I think it was honestly just because for some reason, I think a lot of people had kind of a, I don't know, not a prejudice, because, I'm not saying it's a race thing, because, that's obviously enough of a problem right now in this country, but I think it was that sorry guys, it's shaking the camera, it's on my laptop's on my lap, but, I think he just didn't have the support from day one he needed from the boosters and the actual team itself. I think that played a lot into it, and, I think in South Florida he does have that, and I think you're going to see a very good South Florida team. Oh, man, that was a hit and a half. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by this game, but holy cow, Falk just took a nice shot. Who is that? Number 10 there from USC, I don't know. Well, anyway, that was a good hit he just made. But yeah, USF probably wins this game pretty handily. East Carolina's not a bad team historically, but, I don't think they'll be able to handle that. Next, we got Florida and Vandy. Look for Vandy to be a little more competitive in this game. They got beat up. They got beat 59-0 last week against Alabama. They're going to want to prove that was a fluke and that they just, got overwhelmed. So they're going to come out. I still think Florida will win this game. I think it'll be, if the spread is 8.5, I would take, I'd still take Florida, but I assume this game will be a lot closer. I think it'll stay close. I think Vanderbilt will try to definitely put some pressure on Florida, but I think at the end, Florida will pull away near the end. And yeah, I think their defense will suffocate Vanderbilt to the point where they really can't do much. Anyway, so next we have Georgia and Tennessee, rematch of last year's game in which a Hail Mary was the difference. Something tells me that won't be the case this year. Now, Georgia, I think, is far and away the better team. Tennessee, though, obviously, is always a threat to pull something out of their hat. They always pull a rabbit out of their hat, and come with these stupid, weird wins that they always are seeming to accumulate, where they, get some... that Georgia Tech game, I watched the Georgia Tech game, and it was just like every little thing that had to go right for them did. And it was like, you knew, so for some reason, there was no doubt in your mind who'd win that game. Even when it was like 14-0, you saw. There was a doubt, I guess, then. But, it was always like, okay, here comes Tennessee. Everything's going right for them again. That's, in the games they always lose it kind of weird, too, if you've noticed. It's always like, I don't know. It's like, for some reason, they have this magic fairy dust they pull out of their hat, and, and they can just make a good play and, make this weird play or anything. But anyway. Next, we have Louisville and Murray State. Louisville, I don't know. I think obviously they're not going to lose this game. The line is almost 50. Holy smokes. I don't think I've ever seen that before. 47.5. Oh, that'd be a tough line to look at. Even then, I'd probably still pick Louisville if I was betting. But anyway, yeah, I saw this team. They played Purdue. I was at the game when they played them at Lucas Oil, and I would say I wasn't as impressed with Louisville as it was after they played Florida State last year. But I think Louisville's still a team that's a good, 8, 9, 10 win, football team that, could, make an impact. Obviously they lost to Clemson, but I wonder if they Miami in their division? I can't remember. No, I think Miami's in. If Miami's in their division, though, they could definitely maybe knock out both of them. I don't know. I forget how the ACC aligns itself. Let me look that up real quick. That's the nice thing about this, though, is with the computer right here, is I can look that up. I always get the ACC divisions kind of messed up in my head sometimes. So what are we looking at? We're looking at conferences. Thank goodness for good old ESPN here. That's where I'm getting this information. I don't think that's really that important, but, just to say it. So they are in... No, they are not. Okay, that's good to know. Miami's in the Coastal. Okay. They do have to play... Who's undefeated left in the... I guess NC State's still undefeated, but, I mean... that'll probably change. Clemson, obviously, they've already played. Wake Forest is undefeated, too. Or no, wait, NC State's not undefeated. I forgot about the fact they lost to... They lose to? I don't know, that's not important right now. But yeah, Wake Forest is undefeated, too, but they're going to have to play... we'll get to them. I think later they play a good ranked team this week. But anyway, yeah, Louisville does not have to play Miami. But I think they're a team that if late in the year there's a surprise team or somebody that, like a Wake Forest... I don't know when they play Wake Forest, but at some point they'll probably play. I mean, they play Wake Forest, but they're still undefeated. That could be a trap game for them. But anyway, that they can make it. They'll make an impact somewhere. I think along the line. If not, they'll still be a 9-10 win team. They're good enough to beat anybody at any time because of just Lamar Jackson. So I mean, he makes some plays, and he may not be that team may not have been impressive, but that was also the first game of the year. But I think the things that bug me in that game were their lack of discipline, with 2 turnovers inside the 1-yard line, and then also as well as a lot of penalties. Like every drive, at least once or twice, they were getting a false start. I mean, they had like 15, 16 penalties in that game. It was a lot. Gotta get hydrated. Gotta keep hydrated while doing this. Next, we have Mississippi State and Auburn. This game will probably not be that competitive. I think it'll be competitive. But I think... I don't know. I just have this feeling like Auburn's just going to run away with it. I don't know why. I mean, Mississippi State's a good team. I mean, but at the same point, it just has one of those feelings like it's one of those games that they'll get exposed again, like they did last week. Or against, they'll get exposed again. It just has that feeling. They play a lot. Yeah, that was last week they got exposed against, not LSU, but who was it they got beat up by? I'm a little behind on this sometimes. I'm trying to remember who it was that beat them up. There's an SEC opponent. Georgia. SEC opponent. I don't know what I say. Yeah, I mean, Georgia beat them up. Oh, I kind of just have that feeling again like it'll happen again. And it's not because they're a bad team. It's just because they're playing a really good team, and I think they have more... I think that LSU win is... I think we have, for some reason, a win against LSU lately has just turned into something that's given too much of an emphasis, especially since LSU's been down the last few years. And I think that's kind of what happened with them. But anyway, let's go back down. So I think Auburn will win big. Again, if I were the betting line, I would take Auburn. Next one we have LSU and Troy. Although I was saying a win against LSU was not as hard to get as it has been in years, I think LSU will dominate this game. Troy is a good, one of those teams that, you do come into play saying, okay, we do need to, we don't have to play perfect, but we can't, continually make mistakes, continue to, otherwise they'll hang around. I mean, they're not, again, not a team you say, okay, we need to play, you can make a lot of mistakes and still beat them. But, make sure, don't let them hang around. Don't let them get late in the game, still in the game. I mean, especially with LSU and some of their defensive issues they've been having. But still, I mean, I think it'll be a little bit closer, but I still think LSU will win. Then what I think can be considered the game of the week, even though technically this game that I'm watching right now has kind of been billed as a little bit of it. But Clemson and Virginia Tech, this will be a good one. The line is set 7.5 with Clemson. I'm going to have to go Virginia Tech on this one. And it's not because I don't think Clemson's good. It's because this game just... It's set up for Virginia Tech to win, too. I mean, it's at home. College game day is going to be there. It's going to be an insane environment there. And I highly doubt that Virginia Tech will lay an 8. I think they'll come out and want to have something to prove. And this could be a potential ACC championship game, preview. So it wouldn't be the end of the world if Clemson lost this one. And that's what I'm saying. What will the losses be that Clemson, Alabama, if they lose? I mean, Alabama's the only one I look at and say maybe they won't lose. But I think all the rest of them will lose. I think every other team in college football will lose at least once, major. But it's who you lose to and then how you play the rest of your games that I think will be the big difference this year in determining the playoff teams. And, I mean, that's how it always mostly been. But I think definitely this year because, again, you have a lot of teams that are undefeated right now, but we're only 4 games, most 4 games, 4 games into the season. I mean, we still got a long way to go, and I think, again, all of them will lose. But this would be a good game if you're going to circle on your schedule and say, okay, we can afford to lose this one. For Clemson, this is a game you can afford to lose because you're going to play them again, most likely. If Virginia Tech is, continues to be as good as they are, you'll get another crack at them in the ACC championship game, and I think that'll basically be a playoff, quarterfinal. And you can look at it that way, and I think it'll make it so that I think Virginia Tech will win that game. Now, ACC championship's a different story. So, but anyway, that's beyond the point. Next, we have Washington. Oops. Yeah, I think let me make sure that, actually, now that I think about it, I want to make sure, I'm an idiot. Let's make sure I'm not mistaken here. Yeah, Virginia Tech's in the other side. I wanted to make sure of that. I didn't want to look like an idiot. I mean, I already look like an idiot enough, but, we don't want to make it even worse, so to say. Next, we have good old Texas Tech and Oklahoma State. Or, wait a minute. We'll just do that one next, and then I'll go back to Washington, Oregon State. It's going to be tough. I mean, the line's 10.5, but I think that's a bunch of baloney. This will be a good one. I mean, expect Texas Tech to at least, I would say, because I'm going to have to take this one from the line perspective, I would pick Texas Tech. Now, to win the game, I say Oklahoma State wins by 3, by a field goal. It'll be a close game, and I think it'll be one of those games where we see the true grit of Oklahoma State, because sure they lost, but again, it's one of those things is they lost to TCU, who's a good team, and only rising, and I think it's one of those things where if they can avenge that, if they can. Again, everybody's going to lose one game. It's what do you do in these games where you should do this. And I don't know. But for this game, though, I'd definitely say I think it would be a very, very huge win for Oklahoma State if they can escape, Lubbock with a win because of the fact that this is a tough game. So, that being said, I think it would be a good win for them moving forward, and it would be a good thing to put on a resume, a good win against an undefeated Texas Tech team. So, anyway, next you have Ole Miss and Alabama. I don't know. I mean, Alabama will probably win this game big, but in this game, I'm going to go again. I'm going to try to pick the line. It's 28. I think that's a little high. I don't know, though. Alabama's just been blowing people out this year, though. I don't know. I'd have to pick on the line. I'd have to say Ole Miss, only because it's a 28-point spread. But even then, I could see Alabama beating them up completely, just taking them out to the, taking them out behind the shed and kicking their butts. I'll put it this way. I think that game, I don't know, maybe I'll go with Alabama. Yeah, they did go to Vandy last week and just completely put the hammer down on them. Anchor down on them, that'd be weird to say. But, Actually, I'm changing that. I'm going Alabama. I think if you're looking at a spread perspective, I mean, obviously Alabama will win the game. That's not going to be indeterminate. Right now, I'm thinking of spread wise. At a 20.8 point line, I'd have to go Alabama. Now that I think about it more, because they've just been beating up teams this year. I mean, it's not even been competitive. Next, we have Northern Illinois at San Diego State. This will be one of those games where San Diego State needs to take it seriously. Again, if they're going to it's going to be them and South Florida and them. I think are going to be the two teams challenging for that group of five. New Year's Six bowl game bid, and so they're going to need to win this game. Obviously, I can't lose a game. I would say. I don't think those two will lose, just because I think they're two good, two really good teams and two weaker conferences. You got Boise, but I mean they're not what they used to be. So I mean that's still a threat. And Wyoming, but I think they're not as strong as many people believe they would be. But I think San Diego State's still one heck of a team, but I think they're going to have to. Their Northern Illinois is going to give them their all, and I think San Diego State will end up pulling it out. But I think it'll be probably only like a 7-point game or something like that. It'll be a touchdown game. It'll be close, definitely. They might end up beating the spread because it's a 9.5, but it will definitely be a hard-fought game in which they're going to have to give it everything they have. Okay, so that's been everything. Those are the games that we can do. And the other game, Miami won already, and Washington State and USC right now are in the middle of a game. There's some John going back and forth right now. 24 seconds to go half. I guess we can give a little halftime. I mean, I've kind of been doing this, so I haven't been watching the last few minutes. I don't know, though. Definitely, I'd say, though, that I'm not as impressed with Sam Darnold. He's just... If you were to ask me, okay, there's two guys in this. One, is going to be probably a middle round pick, and the other is going to be a number one pick in the draft. Who's it going to be? Who's going to be what? That was a weird call. I would say Darnold is the middle round guy, and Falk is the, Donald did make that great play. Darnold made that great play with his legs to score a touchdown. I think Falk has been kind of the better coach so far. Or better coach. I was reading the stupid thing on the bottom line. Better player so far. He's been outperforming, I'd say that, in this game. So, but, that's just his offense, I think, makes him look a lot better. But at the same point, I would still, say that he's been more of a factor than Darnold. So, I mean, they'll probably here in a second, they're going to tie it up at halftime, and I think we're going to see basically, I don't know. But anyway, that's my thoughts on this game, is that Sam Darnold has to wake up in the second half, and he is going to have to put USC on their shoulder. I mean, they've scored touchdowns without him, but I think at the same point, I think if they're going to win this game, they're going to, this is not an easy game. I mean, this is probably one of the hardest. I think this the FPI has this is the second hardest game they have to play left. I would assuming they have to play Washington. They have to play another team like Washington. I haven't looked at SC's schedule, but this is a tough game. This is not a cakewalk, and Sam Darnold's going to have to come out and be ready to play in the second half. He's going to have to go out there, get that ball first, and go right down the field and just make a statement. If not, I fear that Washington State will do that. And what you're going to see is a 24-17 game. Obviously, Washington State hasn't scored yet, but I think that's my point. And again, you guys will know more about this because I'm not posting. I'll probably set this to start uploading, and it probably won't upload until the end. Probably won't be done uploading by the end of the game. But that's my thoughts on it. Is that definitely that first drive? I think what you're going to see is the first two drives of each other. If as long as Washington State scores a touchdown here, I think what you're going to see is whoever wins that first drive, that sequence, is going to win this game. It's going to be whoever takes the advantage of the momentum that is gained from that will end up winning this game. And I'm not going to sit here and say it's going to be either or. But I definitely think whoever does that will win this game. Honestly, again, I think Washington State. Well, I said Washington State will probably win this game beforehand. I'm sticking to that, based on the fact that Falk is outperforming Darnold. I keep wanting to call him Donald. Touchdown, Washington State, just like I thought. 25. Who is that? Morrow scored the touchdown. Again, you guys know more about this because happening. You know, obviously it's already happened. But yeah. But anyway, this has been week 5 predictions. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, you know, obviously, you know, I'm not going to go into all that hoopla. You know, my biggest thing is, you know, continue. You know, put your thoughts in the comments. That's my most important thing because I love to, you know, read that stuff and, you know, get different people's opinions. I'm probably, you know, blocking out my face with this stupid thing. I can actually go back to camera mode here. Stupid thing. There we go. It's kind of in my way. It's kind of covering my mouth. You guys can't see my chin. Pretend I'm leafy. Anyway, I don't know. That's stupid crap. I just saw that stupid stuff. I'm like, yeah. But anyway, this has been Tyler here with college football predictions. Week 5. And again, I'll try to do something where, you know, Monday morning, I'll maybe, if I have time, make a video where we'll go through and talk about what happened. You know, what I think, what my thoughts were based on this weekend. You know, I'll go through my picks here. I haven't written them down, but I'll watch the video again. It's not that hard to figure out who I picked. I mean, I think I picked mostly the ranked. I mean, there's a few upsets I think I went with, but for the most part, this weekend is kind of one of those weekends where it's not like, there's not a lot of those trap games. I mean, a lot of the trap games are games where it's like, well, they'll probably escape, you know, with a win. I mean, it's not like you sit there and go, oh, you know, they're going to lose. You know, a lot of the trap games are, oh, Northern Illinois, San Diego State. You know, that's a trap game, but it's one of those things where it'll just be one of those real competitive games. But anyway, Tyler with week 5 predictions. Hope we have a good week in college football. You know, I'd love to see someone beat me wrong on some of them. You know, because I mean, again, I think that Virginia Tech game will be the best game of the week. You know, if that's, you know, if there's only one game, you know, you can finagle, you know, you can, you know, have time to watch, you know, or, you know, you're only going to have, you have a bunch of stuff to do and you want to just sit down and watch one game this weekend, that would be my game to recommend. Just because I think there's going to be a lot of things you see in that game that'll definitely shape how the playoff turns out. I think this game also. But I think that game, if Virginia Tech has to win. It's a must-win. I mean, not as much for Clemson, but I think definitely you're going to see that'll be a good game because Clemson's going to want to win because that'll put them in a very good position moving forward. Because that's, I think, probably one of the hardest games they have left. Because they've already played Louisville. I don't know who else they would have to play crossover-wise. But anyway, Anyway, in week 5 predictions. Again, Monday I'm going to try to, if I have time, do a recap. If not, it'll be Tuesday for sure. Tuesdays are my day where I don't, you know, I'm in school and everything, and that's the day I don't have class. So it's very easy for me to get up in the morning, recorded, you know, a 30-minute video, recapping what I said here, you know, kind of going over what, you know, and then kind of giving a little bit of a preview next week. I'll do the preview, probably the other video on Thursday or whatever. That way we can get it up before all the games happen. I mean, it'll only take, again, this is 30 minutes. Most of the time I really don't edit these videos too much because I think I'm not very good at it, for one, and two, you know, this is just a vlog experience. You know, you're not here for fancy graphics and all that. It's just my opinion, and I'd like to hear you guys again, so just put them in the comments below. You know, if you can trash me for what I think about this USC game. This has been a really good game, though. I will say this. I'm definitely excited to watch the second half. And, you know, a little mini half, if you, again, I'm looking at the stats right here. I think, where's my remote? Where's the TiVo here? I'm looking at the stats right now. Get out of here. I'm trying to get that stupid thing to get off. Yeah. Wish the bar would go away. There's a little bar that comes on here. Okay, go away, please. I'm trying to see what the passing yards are. If I hit that, and it'll go away. I think Darnold has 73 passing yards. There we go. 73 passing yards, 1 TD, 1 rush TD. But if you look at the opposite, and you look at Falk here, you have 184, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. You know, that interception was kind of weird, though. But, I mean, Washington State's defense, I was really impressed that they were able to stand that. And I think that's a major turning point in the game, too, because they were able to, weather the storm of that. But anyway, before I start rambling on way too long, which I've already done it for 30 minutes, so I mean, it's already been a lot of rambling. Allman Brothers Band song right there, that describes my life. Anyway, guys, I've been Tyler here, and hope you have a good weekend watching college football, wherever you are, so anyway, have a good one. And again, leave your comments or what you think in the comments below. And we will see you Tuesday or Monday to recap what happened and to kind of give a little look at the rankings. So anyway, guys, see ya. Bye.